we're going to turn to the NFL real quick, man. We're going to turn to the NFL. Over the weekend, President Trump had a rally in the New York metro area, and the Giants quarterback, Jaxson Dart, was in the headlines. He introduced President Trump at the rally, and one of his teammates, first-round draft pick Abdul Carter, had a little pushback. I'm going to play this video, Leel, and then we'll jump back.
Abdul Carter is going viral after calling out his own quarterback, Jaxson Dart, following a controversial moment involving President Trump in New York. During the event, Jaxson Dart introduced Trump ahead of a speech, and the clip immediately started spreading across social media, especially after Abdul Carter reposted it with the message, "Thought this shit was AI, what we doing, man?" Honestly, a lot of fans were shocked seeing a former first-round pick publicly react to his own quarterback like that. Usually situations like this stay private behind the scenes, so the fact Abdul posted it publicly instantly turned this into a huge online discussion. Some people online are agreeing with Abdul and saying the situation felt random and unexpected, while others are defending Jaxson Dart and saying athletes should be allowed to support whoever they want politically. What also makes the situation crazier is that Jaxson is expected to be one of the faces of the Giants organization moving forward as the starting quarterback, while Abdul Carter is also one of the team's biggest young stars.
And so, Leo, I wanted to jump back in and get your comments about the video we just showed, the Jaxson Dart introduction of President Trump, and the Abdul Carter tweet. What are your thoughts?
You can hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah, go ahead.
All right, perfect. I mean, look, man, to me, when you talk about this topic, the NFL, I think in general, and players in it, they want you to stay out of politics when you don't promote their politics, right? I think that's where we can start. First of all, when you look at Abdul Carter, I'm looking at his tweet, and I'm just asking, what's the point of his tweet? You know, I don't understand it, because number one, whether you like him or not, Donald Trump won the popular vote. So clearly, you know, there's support there. Now, this doesn't have to get into if you're Republican, if you're Democratic. He won the popular vote. The election wasn't rigged. He won it. So I'm looking at his tweet like, you know, what's the point? What are we trying to convey here? Because I feel like a lot of players and a lot of people in general right now, anytime your politics differ from the norm of what society has told you politics should look like, especially in the black community, it almost feels like a betrayal. Everybody look at it like a betrayal. Oh, you know, Jaxson Dart betrayed me. How? That's his guy. Do you know that people to be able to speak for a president at a rally, that's a privilege. In the same way that how in sports, when you win a championship, you get invited to the White House. But now we live in this culture where that's not a right anymore. You got Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown. Oh no, I pass. Devontae Smith. That's a high honor right there. So to be honest with you, I don't understand what Abdul Carter, why he tweeted what he tweeted. I think we live in a society where politics is just splitting people down the middle, and I don't know why it is. Because to be honest with you, every president the last couple of years to me has sold out the American people. To me, right? Obama was supposed to be the savior for black people. He did everything for the alphabet boys and whatnot. Clearly. Right? So nothing for black people, but yet we go out there and make excuses. Oh, well, because, you know, he's a black president, they're not going to pass certain things and they're going to give him a hard time. So we give him an out. No, he didn't do jack for black people. Right? So he sold this out. Biden. Let's start with Biden. All these immigrants walking into this daggone, woohoo, yeah, you know, all that. You know what I'm saying? Not vetted, nothing. Don't even know if they military age people, what they're here to do from other countries that we have beef with, nothing, right? He sold this out. Donald Trump, MAGA, you know, make American great again. You know, we're not going to get into no new wars. Guess what? We're in a war right now in Iran. So again, what are we fighting for? What are we disagreeing? Who's betraying who? Abdul Carter, Jaxson Dart is not betraying your locker room, bruh, because he want to post or he want to, you know, speak at a rally. He's not betraying you. Who's betraying you is the system. That's who's betraying you. The system that makes you believe that you have to pick a side. When in all actuality, these are two birds of the same feather. And that's my take.
Yeah, I mean, good point, some of those, Leo. this is what I'll say. This is what I'll say. It's just like anything. Everybody, we have freedoms in this country. Everybody has the right to do what they want. You can support any candidate you want. You can go to the rallies. You can do all the things necessary. If you feel that's your candidate, you support them. I have no problems with that. People have freedoms to do that. However, there are always consequences to everything that you do as well, right? There are always consequences, right? And so, Colin Kaepernick, he took a knee. He wasn't disrespecting the flag, but he took a knee for social justice. And look what it got him. There are consequences, right? There are consequences. Never played it down again. Never played it down again, no matter what. He has never played and never been back in the NFL. So there are consequences to everything you do. And Jaxson Dart, that's your candidate. You feel honored to do that. Hey, that's your thing. I have no problems with it if that's what you want to do. However, you cannot have a problem also when one of your teammates pushes back on what are you doing, because he has different views, right? Or teammates. So when you look at it, that could drive a void in the Giants locker room. Whereas Jaxson Dart initially was fun loving, doing the gritty, doing all that stuff, right? Doing the gritty, looking good, wearing a chain like all of the other guys and all that. Now, his players may see him in a different light. That's why you need to stay politic neutral in these locker rooms. Politic neutral. You have to focus on what you need to focus on, even during the season and in the off season. And too many times, recently, it wasn't like this years ago, but recently, right? Too many times these things have crept up. Think about this. John Harbaugh last year went to a Trump rally before the season last year with the Ravens. And now all of these different things come up. Things are reported in the media. Players now, they don't like Harbaugh. It's reported. Something's going on, and he's out for whatever reason. These things happen. And when you bring it in, there are consequences to everything you do, Leel. And to Mr. Jaxson Dart, there are consequences. Now, I know Abdul sort of squashed it because probably somebody told him to do it. But you can't tell me that there's not going to be lingering resentment from him and other players in that locker room.
And my point is, what's the point? I'm not saying that Abdul Carter was, he shouldn't have the ability to tweet, right? Just in the same way that I wouldn't criticize Jaxson Dart for who he speaks at a rally for. What's the point? What are we debating about? What are we fighting about? You see, if Harbaugh could go to a Trump rally, if Jaxson Dart could go to a Trump rally, and we put that under a microscope, all right, we different religions, right? Most people, some people go to the mosque, some people go to the church, or we putting that under a microscope. Is there consequences for that? Clearly, Abdul Carter is a Muslim. You could tell by his first name. You could tell by what he wore during the draft when he got selected to the NFL. Clearly, he was able to be expressive because he wanted to show the world that that's his religion. Fine. Am I going to fuss about that? No, I'm not. So it's the same thing when it comes to political. Political and religion is two different things. I mean, two of the same things. It's a little different, but it's similar because everybody believes that what they believe is the correct way. Christians believe that if you question anything about the Bible, that you are, you inferior and you're going to hell, right? Whether you're a Muslim and you're a good person, whether you're Hindu and a good person, it doesn't matter. You're going straight to hell. Why? Because you don't believe in my God. The same way how it could be when it comes to politics, because you like Trump and there's this narrative that's pumping out there that Trump is a racist, and guess what? You must be too. Screw all the politics. Screw what politics he ran on and whatnot. You're racist because guess what? You like Trump. But what Abdul Carter got to realize is that whether or not you believe that's true, Trump has black friends and allies. Mike Tyson, Tiger Woods, I believe a couple other black people as well. So this narrative, at the end of the day, is narrative. So again, when you talk about the NFL and Colin Kaepernick, you brought up Colin Kaepernick. There was consequences, like you said, because what he did was political. When he took a knee, was political, right? And look, at the end of the day, the NFL, they had this narrative or whatever, and they suspended him and whatnot. Cool, but now it's cool again. Now it's cool to kneel. They encourage you to kneel. Now they get political. So again, we cannot say politics should be out of sports when it doesn't fall in line with our politics. So when Black Lives Matter is painting on the field, and the rainbow colors is painted on the field, and my guy from the NBA that just got let go because of his remarks about the LGBTQ and the alphabet, again, it's somebody controlling the narrative, and we can't do that. And that's why I always like when players express how they feel, because guess what? This is America. This is the core principle of America, that anybody could come here and work and make a good life for themselves. Anybody could worship who the hell they want to worship. And in some ways, if you want tampons in certain boys' bathrooms, I guess that's, even though I don't believe in that, that's not my place to decide whether or not there should be tampons in boys' bathrooms, even though I don't think it makes sense to do that. But guess what? If you believe it, you believe what you want, just like how you believe there's a God in the sky. I mean, at the end of the day, and my point here, I know I'm going on a tangent here, I don't get Abdul Carter's tweet. I don't know why he think it was supposed to be AI, why he think he felt betrayed. At the end of the day, politicians, Democrats, Republicans have been betraying the American people for over the last decade. And that's just what it is.
When you bring politics into that locker room, when you open it up, see, that this is what people have to understand, and what Jaxson Dart needs to understand. When you open it up, then you are not necessarily forcing, but you are people to take sides. When you open that up in a professional locker room, and I don't care what anybody says, there will be consequences to that. We're cool now. No, you're not. Your coach probably told you, your GM probably told you don't need that out in the public, but you still feel the way that you feel, or else he wouldn't have tweeted it, right? And so there are going to be more people that are like, oh man, I thought Jaxson was cool. He's rolling that way. Now, he has the right to do it. There's no doubt about that. I was in the military. I served in the military for the right for people to do this. I'm not saying he doesn't have the right to do it. I champion that. But there are consequences to what you do. And you're right. Colin Kaepernick was political. That was a political consequence. The Hardy kid in basketball, I think his name was. There was consequences. He got cut immediately. There are consequences, and certainly, Jaxson Dart, to some of your African American teammates, they may feel a certain way, and they may look at you a different way. That's why when you bring it into the locker room, when you put it out there for all the world to see and all the news media to see, there's going to be some backlash. We'll see how that really evolves as the season starts in the NFL. I'll give you the last word, Leel, before we get out of here.
Yeah, in conclusion, I just think that, freedom of speech, freedom of, if he wants to go at a rally, let him go at a rally, whatever he does is, we look at celebrities and we take things too personal. That's what we do. That's our problem. They did the same thing with Nicki Minaj when she joined the Republican. Oh, Nicki Minaj is this and that, never put these people in high regards. If Megan Thee Stallion, whatever her name is, can twerk at a daggone presidential rally and people think it's not cute, then guess what? People think it's not cute. It is what it is. So when it comes to Abdul Carter, focus on football. Obviously, the Giants have a lot of optimism, and the last thing you want to do is cause division in the locker room, because what Jaxson Dart did, it didn't really, his intent wasn't to cause division, but you highlighting it is what's going to cause division. No matter how you try to clean it up and act like y'all the best of friends, no, your reaction to what he did on his own in the offseason is going to make it a problem in the locker room by your tweet. It's the reaction to it. Same thing with Colin Kaepernick. Colin Kaepernick took a knee. We had a reaction to it. And the reaction is what caused separation. That's when you had Ed Reed coming out and kneeling right after that, where everybody else was standing, right? It's the reaction to it. Kyrie
Yeah,
Irving, I don't want to take the kill shot, the vaccination. I don't want to do that. Right? Well, guess what? The reaction of his teammates is what causes friction in the locker room because he did an act. He made his decision. We all have choices. We all make them. But it's the reaction that caused the trickle-down effect. And that's just what it is.
It's the introduction of the act too, Leel. We have to because just as Jaxson Dart has the right to go to the Trump rally and introduce him, Abdul Carter has that very same right to say and tweet that I'm against it. So who was the conduit that introduced what to the locker room? I guess that's what I can say. I think they have to sit down and have a conversation with the entire team because again,
it's madness,
that's going to cause problems.
It's madness.
Remember
You're in the NFL where people from different cultures, right? People with different religions, different political views, and the fact that we live in this society that we get sensitive when people don't see politics the way how we see it. That's the problem with this country. That right there, Abdul Carter is a microcosm of exactly what's wrong with society today. He just literally put it to the forefront right there.
I disagree with that. But let me say this about because I think Abdul Carter has just as much right as Jaxson Dart to voice his opinion. Obviously, when Jaxson Dart accepted the invitation, he knew that this was a controversial thing to do. This wasn't like just a random, I'm going to do it. He knew that this was going to be controversial. So he knew that there's potentially going to be some backlash to it. He wouldn't have accepted that in that regard, being naive enough to say that it wasn't. But let me say this. One thing about the NFL is always about the shield. That's why the dress code is the way it is. That's why they don't let you wear certain things. That's why they don't let you do A, B, and C. And people understand that if you want to stay in the NFL. And so that's how the NFL views it. This is more of a team thing right now. It's not necessarily a whole NFL thing. The Giants are going to have to get out ahead of it.
You see,
before it becomes a problem. And, as a Cowboys
this is my last point officially.
It does, but they're going to definitely have to get it.
Yeah, this is my last point officially. You see, the problem is not really politics, right? The problem is we are so dumbed down to the point where we look at certain things and get offended by it. We wasn't getting offended about what your political views were before. Now we are, because now we live in a sensitive society. Now we live in a trolling society. Thus, look at your comments. You have this idiot, HDH. Listen, he got a funny name, right? We don't have the real names anymore. We have the trolling names, right? We just, everything is little. Everything is HDH, FS31. Like, where's the context there, bro? Yeah. I'm the real Leel. I stand for something. You right here got all these numbers and letters. You're an idiot, okay? We have idiots like this guy in the comments that all they do all day long is be on somebody's platform and troll. Like, they got time. Listen, I don't even got time to be trolling other people's platforms. You know what I'm saying? Because I got something to do with my life, whereas this idiot here does. So the fact that Abdul Carter has the time to worry about what Jaxson Dart is doing at a rally, to me, it makes no sense. And I'm not saying he doesn't have a right to tweet. I'm not saying Jaxson Dart don't have a right to do what he do. But again, I don't get it. I don't understand it. What is Jaxson Dart doing to you as an individual? He's just out here doing what he felt was right at the time. And you should leave it alone.
Yeah, I think it's about what people some of the things that you said, I do agree with, Leel, when you look at the sensitivity of people now. But people have taken that, the line in the sand has been drawn with this president, and you see it every day. When someone comes out, there's a backlash, and that's unfortunate. But the line has been drawn, and that's something Jaxson Dart's going to have to deal with. Look, guys, this has been a great show. My guy, Leel, always brings it. I love Leel because he's going to bring his unfiltered opinions. That's what I like on this show. You bring it, you shoot it, we talk about it, you fans chime in. It's been a great show. As always, like and subscribe. Tell a friend about it. I need some more subscriptions, guys. Get out there and subscribe to the show. Leel, tell the people how they can see you every week doing your thing, man.
Definitely the Real Leel Show. We out here, Real Leel TV. We be producing content on there, and we just be giving it real, man. We don't be going with the narratives. We don't be walking at their line. We just shoot it. That's what we do. We like Klay Thompson. Excuse me, not Klay Thompson, the old Klay Thompson. We like Steph Curry. We just shoot it, and that's what we do here. So, and we slay trolls, right? So we the troll slayer here as well. We don't do it trolls. So, yeah, Lee, thank you for having me on, and until next time, man.
Yeah, it's been a great show. This is my guy, man. I
Go
love
Knicks.
him, man. I love doing the show with him because, you know, the real and real Leel is real, and I love it. I love a guy that's real, that we can talk sports, we can disagree or agree, but we come at it and we love the debate. So, guys, for my guy Real Leel, I'm Lee Jones. Let's watch this game 4, see what the Spurs are going to do. But this has been After the Buzzer show with Lee Jones. We'll holler at you next week.
Stand up, New York.